Okay, I'm gonna try and make this so that maybe we can plan off of this a little bit, Mark. So let me give you a quick orientation. So I'm facing north right now in the center of this lot. So to the left is the concrete alley next to the new building. Our catch basins are in this bottom dip right there. It walks uphill pretty hard to here, and then it's relatively flat across here. This is where all the job shacks are at. They're all gone, and it actually has a decent flow, so I feel really good about that. Now, where that black fence is, this is the bus lot in there. So their fence is gonna come along here and up there with a break in it that we can get in and out of. So that's where we're gonna stage our equipment in that lot, and we'll start here. Now, some good things about this, if you pull up the aerial, you'll see is that's all new R&R, and then we have full depth patches from that point almost halfway to the rest of the lot. So we'll just pave that low so we don't have to grind it. Some we're just gonna have to grind around there, and I'll show you all that at the front. And then this new concrete alleyway, along the concrete alleyway, there's a lot of already, so they put asphalt along this so they didn't damage it, but they got form boards along most of it, or it's all trenched out up there. So a lot of this will be okay, not having to worry about damaging the concrete, but when you take a video for all the minor chips or whatever they have out of it right now. So most of the key in is actually going to be taken care of with patching. I'd say maybe a third of the total amount we will actually be keying into. Now, that being said, there's lots of these areas where it's alligatored, beat up, and throughout the middle there's a lot of big patching. We're pushing everything over. There are existing depths down here, so right there's that's a sideways chunk of 2 inches, and they're doing trenching for the light pole. And so you can see it's like 3 there, it's 4, and then way up where we're doing like the ADA work, it's like 1 inch, if that. So it's really varies throughout here, but nowhere have I seen it more than 4. 4 is the thickest I've seen it. Now, in between these catch basins, they have grade issues. So, like this, I know this is gonna be a pain in the butt. We got a patch around it. So we can patch around it and key into it, but that basin itself is kind of low and beat up. So that's gonna be a pain in the butt one. This whole flow line is gonna take a little bit of dialing in. What we're gonna have to do in between them is ramp up and then back down, because they're almost flat as it sits. So we'll need to kind of build our own flow line through there. Also, this big thing is staying, and then they're doing light poles all the way down. So I just, they needed to know what elevation they want the last light pole at, because that's the only one where we're locked in, and that light pole is where we're doing our ADA stalls. So once again, as I walk through this, there's random patching throughout here, but I don't know if you can tell, my phone is relatively flat right now. So it's got some fall. There's not very many flat spots. Also, I'll show you up here where we're gonna key in, and then the thickness in the asphalt. So, as you can tell in the trench, it's relatively thin. You can see there where it's breaking where my finger is, it's like 1 inch tops. So, they're trenching for the electrical conduit. And then these areas that I've already noticed where there's grade changes, we might have water. I can tell now that it flows, but I had Bush put a decent amount of pre-leveling tonnage into the scope so that we can get our fall. We're probably gonna get pushed a little hard on timing, but not that bad. See, there's another shot of it, 2 inches, if that. So, okay, so now we're at the front. This is one weird problem that I need to confirm. This was another one of those giant signs. It's the base for it, so we'll need to know exactly what we're doing there. Then this corner, it's all beat up with tree roots and whatnot, but all of this is supposed to flow into this basin. I'm not positive that it does, but it definitely flows all out to the street. So so this is where we're doing our ADA stalls, are going right in here. Our ADA stalls are going right in here. And so I just had them 34 feet off the sidewalk is where the light pole's going. I had them take 34 feet, and then I also had them, I told them at this point in the concrete, I looked up on your flow calculator, 34 feet, 1.5% is a 6-inch rise. So that's what I told them I wanted. So that locks us in 1.5% for our ADAs. And the existing doesn't break 3, which is nice. There's some 2.5s, but it doesn't break 3, which is really nice. So another basin in this corner. And then what I wanted to show you here is our key in. So all this fence will be gone. They'll put up delineators, and we're gonna need to key in to this sidewalk. Now, like I said, in between these 2 light poles, about where our patching starts. So that's all patched, and we'll just pave it low. But we'll need to grind with our Bobcat grinder, which is nice because we can straddle the edge, so we don't have to have it locked all the way over to one side. And we might need to throw a pedestrian wrangler in here just to keep us safe, but we can grind along this front. Now also, I told them this definition that's on this south side is not on the north side of the lot. So I told them that we are maybe gonna encroach into the city, and they said, we know this, we're willing to take that risk, people have been cool. So they're going to ask us to go all the way to the sidewalk up there, even if that is not the ideal, or not ideal, but even if that encroaches into the city, they still want to do it. So now that I showed you that, since I got you, I'll come over here, I'm gonna pause it, and I'll pick back up outside the north lot. Okay, so I'm walking over here. I had a quick peek inside this this fence. It's all alligatored, and that's why that's all getting R&R'd. And you can see here, the actual depth is 2 inches at maximum, and it goes out from there. Okay, so I just pulled Brian over and showed him that basin, and showed him that we'd have to excavate around it to key into it, and he said, yeah, that's totally fine. And you know, there's another basin with concrete around it. Obviously we got to come out and key in, so there will be concrete disposal. But I wanted to show you this. So now I'm on the north end of the lot, looking back on the scope, and there's this sidewalk. So it's like, that's the sidewalk to the alley, right? It seems like it'd be this saw cut line here, but I'm not positive. I mean, that's what it looks like, right? Is it's this line. So we'll need to bust out this panel here, or grind, but we can't grind through that. So bust out this panel, excavator, grind this asphalt. To the corner, and all the way down. So there it is, Mark.